This is episode 16 of the Living Luppy Podcast, Chronic Hunger.
I'm starting over and I'm older and I'm wiser times 50 years. If you wanna feel your heart, my friend.
Welcome to the Living Luppy Podcast, where a fat musician fights to lose 200 pounds and learns a whole lot of lessons along the way.
If you wanna feel your new life begin.
And now, weighing in at 413 pounds with a total weight loss of 41 pounds, here he is, your host, me. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Living Luppy Podcast. I am Luppy. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to my dining room / office. This is where all the magic happens, right here. So, glad you guys are here. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Living Luppy Podcast, where a fat musician fights to lose 200 pounds and learns a whole lot of lessons along the way. So that is me. I am the fat musician, and I am working on bettering myself and losing some weight and getting fit. And I'm glad you guys are here to join the journey with me. All right. Hey, make sure you check out our website, livingluppy.com. Living Luppy, Luppy is Luppy. Livingluppy.com, that's where you can find out more about the podcast and more about my music and lots of other stuff. So be sure to check that out and enjoy. Also, if you're a fan of the podcast, you can subscribe, rate, and review over at iTunes. So be sure to find us at iTunes. And if you could leave us a review, that would be great. That really helps us a lot and know what we're doing good and what we need to do better and whatnot. So, check that out on iTunes when you get a chance. All right. So enough of all that. Every week on the show, Daddy weighs in. And Daddy did that this morning. So let's see how the weigh-in went. All right, there you have it. 413 pounds. 413. So that's good. That means I'm down 4 pounds from last week, but I still am up a few pounds because I haven't been eating 100% clean, which we'll talk about in a second. But 413, and so that's a total weight loss of 41 pounds right now. So we're at 41. Trying to get back to that 410 and beyond. I'm really trying to break 400. That's my next goal. So I'm working on it. But this last week was a challenging week again. Man, I don't know why we can't just be consistent or why I can't be consistent. I know what I'm supposed to do, and I do it sometimes. But then sometimes I don't. And I did that a lot this week. I really stopped tracking my food about halfway through the week and just started kind of eating what I wanted. Still eating a lot of good stuff, but then our old friend pizza came back into the picture again quite a few times. We'll talk about that in the pizza wars. But I just continue to give into some bad habits. The good thing is I am working out consistently. I have stayed on top of that. I'm working hard, and that feels really good. But now I got to get the food part of it back on track. And I've been working on some of those tips we shared last week on getting back on track, and I have been trying to incorporate those into my own life and routine. But it is hard sometimes when we know what we're supposed to do, but we just don't want to. And for me, I've just been feeling like I am hungry all the time. just like this constant hunger. And it's been really bad this last week. I think a lot of it is, I just, I'd be eating. I would eat and eat and eat, and I still feel hungry. Now, I know that I'm not physically hungry. I know that it's like a desire to eat more or a craving, but it still mentally feels like hunger. It's like my signals that are off, my signals that tell you that you're full, It's like they're off, or I'm not tuned into them. And so I'm blowing right through my full signal, and I can just eat forever. I mean, eventually I'm just like, okay, I got to stop eating. I don't feel satisfied still, but I have to stop. And then I just constantly feel hungry or unsatisfied, even if I'm physically full. So that's going to take us right into our battle notes. Let's do the battle notes. Battle notes. Battle notes. These are the battle notes. Boom. All right. So battle notes this week, we are going to talk about chronic hunger. All right. That is our subject for the week, chronic hunger, because it's something that I have been struggling with this last 2 weeks. Like I said, I constantly feel hungry. Now I know in my head that I have eaten enough and I don't need to eat anymore. I'm nourished or whatever. But I still feel hungry. And I think a lot of that is because I'm not really nourished. So let me explain. This is kind of how I think this works. Basically, for me, can you tell I'm thinking this through as I'm talking about it? But I think that like chronic hunger comes from malnutrition. So I listened to a great podcast, the Model Health Show with Sean Stevenson. You should check it out. It's a great podcast about health and fitness. And Sean is actually from St. Louis too, which is where I live. So that's kind of an extra cool thing. But I'm a fan of that show. And one of the things he said on that show was this: nutrient deficiency results in consistent overeating. So nutrient deficiency results in consistent overeating, otherwise known as chronic hunger. So I think our chronic hunger comes from actually not being properly nourished. So what I think's been happening to me is I've been eating this last week or two, I've been eating a lot of cheese and bread. Pizza, tortilla with cheese rolled up. That's like one of my go-to snacks. Melted cheese and tortillas. A little hot sauce. Mamma mia. It's not Italian, but whatever. And that's like, it satisfies the mouth part of hunger, like being what you want to taste. But I think it's lacking in any real nourishment. There's a little bit of protein, a little bit of fiber, I guess, in there, but not much, When you're not eating the things that your body needs, like vegetables and fruits and nuts and things that are going to, like, nourish your body. When you're just eating cheese and bread, then you're not being nourished. So your stomach might be full of food, but you're still hungry because your body is like, that was great, but where's the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that we need? I didn't get any of that from what you just ate. You know what I mean? And that's why we can eat a dozen donuts in one sitting, because there's no nutrient offering there, nutritious offering. It's all sugar and bread, And so I think that is mainly what's been happening to me the last couple of weeks. I've just been eating pizza and stuff that's not really giving my body what it needs. So no wonder I'm constantly hungry. So I think this nutrient deficiency is leading to chronic hunger. That's like the number one cause of it. I think is you're not giving your body the right food. So you do feel hungry because your body still needs nutrients. So I think that's one big part of it. B is I think when you just do some consistent overeating, you lose the ability to read your signals that tell your body that you're full. So once you blow through those once or twice, you can just eat forever. And I think that's been happening a lot to me this last week. It's just I just want to sit down and eat TV, and you're kind of mindlessly eating, so you're not paying attention to what you're eating. And then the next thing you know, you've eaten a whole pizza and you're still hungry. Now you're not physically hungry, but you didn't catch the signal that you're full. You haven't been paying attention. And so when you blow through that, it gets out of whack, and then it's hard to get it back on track. You have to really tune into it and practice stopping eating when you feel like, okay, I've had enough. And when you're really in tune to it, you can stop. You can stop because you'll feel that little switch. And I've experienced that. But you really have to pay attention to it or you'll blow right through it. So I think those are the two things that have kind of been leading to me overeating. And these are the things I need to work on. A good example of the nutrient deficiency thing was last night. I came home and I was eating. I had a couple cheese rolls and then I had some popcorn and I had some chips. I just obviously had enough to eat, but I just still felt like I'm hungry. I want to eat more. So then I had a Weight Watchers shake that was salted caramel, delicious, but it was fortified with protein and some nutrients. And I drank like half of that, and all of a sudden I was like stuffed. I was full, just from drinking a little bit of a shake. So I drank the whole thing. Don't get me wrong, I didn't stop there. But once I drank that whole thing, I was stuffed. I was done. I was satisfied. Finally satisfied. Finally, that's the thing. I feel like I'm just never satisfied. I eat, and I'm like, man, I just want to keep eating. And after that shake, I finally felt satisfied. So that just makes me think even more that I'm not eating the right things. If I get back to eating, fruits, vegetables, and lots of protein, lots of good fat, I think I'm going to finally feel more satiated. So that is going to be my focus for this next week, is trying to really get back to making sure I'm getting lots of vegetables in everything I eat. I kind of got away from that. Lots of vegetables, fruit for snacks, and I'm going to try to focus on getting a little extra protein and fat in every meal. That's, in the past, been what's really helped me. It's making sure I get a little extra protein and fat in there, and that helps you feel satiated. So I'm really going to try hard to work on that. But I'm not going to lie to you, I'm still a little not unmotivated, because I am motivated, but I'm a little like I just want to keep eating crap. Once you kind of get into eating cheese and bread and stuff that's really tastes good, then that's all you want. It's just like when you drink a lot of soda, you get addicted to the sugar, and then you just crave it all the time. It's the same thing for me with basically cheese, bread, and chips. Like that kind of stuff. That's just all I want to eat. And it's a struggle, man. And it really annoys the crap out of me that it's such a big deal. Like, why can't I just do it? I know, just don't eat that food. It'll go away over time and you'll feel better. Why can't I just do that? But I struggle with it because I don't know. I think I get stressed, and I think it's an emotional eating thing. I want to feel the comfort right now. I don't want to feel better in a week. I want to feel better right now. And I keep giving into it. And I need to stop, I need to get back to good stuff, but it's really hard. It's really hard. And it's dumb because it shouldn't be so hard. We know what we're supposed to do. Why don't we just do it? So I'm trying to get my mind right. I'm still going to Weight Watcher meetings, still working on it, getting up and eating eggs and veggies and trying to get on the right path every day. So it's going to get better. I'll keep you posted. But remember that if you're struggling with that chronic hunger thing, remember to take a look at what you're eating. And maybe it's not the amount, but it's what you're eating. Make sure you're getting nutrients in your food and a good variety of different stuff. And I guarantee you eventually that chronic hunger will dissipate a little bit. So that's my plan. That's what we're going to work on for this week. And we'll make it happen. All right, it's time to take a little break, and we're going to hear from our sponsor. If you are interested in sponsoring the show, you can get a hold of us at livingluppy@gmail.com. You can also hit us on Twitter, Loopy1, or Facebook, facebook.com/livingluppy. Of course, you can also find us on the website, livingluppy.com, and that is the best place to go for all your loopy needs. All right, so check that out. In the meantime, we're going to take a little break here, and we'll be right back. Check out livingluppy.com, where it's all about hip-hop and health. Learn more about Luppy and check out his music that he calls hip-hop for grown-ups.
Yo, I need fireworks.
You can even listen to some of Luppy's tunes before checking out the Living Luppy Podcast. Browse through the many services that Luppy offers, like Beats for Sale. Learn to play piano by ear from Luppy himself. And of course, don't forget to stop by the shop page and purchase all your Luppy goods. It's all about hip-hop and health at livingluppy.com.
This lack of action has got me feeling your eyes. Yeah, I know how you feel right now. The whole world is laughing and having a ball while you're down and you just happen to feel yourself fall. But look around, cause you're on top of it all. Even when you're bound by the negativity, the things that get to me and you. Yeah, I've been there too, but when the sun sets, yo, you can say goodbye and look forward to rise, and the only limit's the sky. If you wanna feel your heart, my friend, you know you can always just start again. Every time you feel like it's all too much, close your eyes and feel like you're back to touch. If you wanna feel your new life.
Yes, what is that? I sure dig that tune. Is that what the kids are calling rap hop or hip music? Oh, that's funny. All right. Welcome back to Living Luppy Podcast. That right there is our song of the month. Every month we feature a song. And this month is Start Again, which my nose is really itchy today. I'm sorry. You have to keep watching me do that. If you're listening and not watching, enjoy the fact that you don't have to watch me itch my nose every 5 minutes. But anyway, that is my song, Start Again. It's a song for the month of August. So we'll have one more week with that song, but it is also the theme for the show, but I wanted to make it available out there for all you guys to check out. And you can get it on iTunes as well as livingluppy.com, and you can put it in your workout playlist and take a loopy to the gym with you and help you push on through. All right, so check that out. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking in there and hanging out with us in the old podcast here. Sure glad you guys are here. It is time now for the Pizza Wars. Pizza. Wars. Pizza. All right. Pizza Wars. Let's do it. In the Pizza Wars every week, we talk about my battle with pizza addiction. It is for sure my number one go-to comfort food. And not that there aren't healthy ways to eat pizza, but a lot of times I don't choose the healthy ways. So this is an ongoing battle for me. And so we are going to talk about how I did in the last week. As you already might have guessed, I did not do well this week. I lost the Pizza Wars last week, and I also lost the Pizza Wars this week. I had a hard time, and I just turned to pizza. There were 2 nights I went to the grocery store, got a DiGiorno 4-cheese pizza. It's probably my go-to frozen pizza. It's delicious. And I had that one night, and then the next night I was craving it, and I went and got it again. So I had it 2 nights in a row. And then a couple days later, wasn't enough pizza for this fatty, so I decided to order Domino's again. And that really was at the end of a long week. It was on Sunday night. I had a long week of gigs and lessons, and I just wanted a reward, and I chose food as my reward. So I got done with my last gig, and I'm like, I'm going to go get Domino's and go home and watch Netflix and eat pizza, and that's what I did, and it was fun for a couple minutes, and then it was depressing. And then the pizza was gone, and I had heart palpitations, and I felt like crap. And it wasn't worth it, and I knew it. And I know that every time, but I still continue to do it. So the only good part of this in the Pizza Wars is one night I really wanted to go get Domino's or Pizza Hut or whatever. And I did choose to come home and make pizza, which is a little healthier version of pizza. Definitely a lot less calories. So I did make that one night. I made a good decision. I came home and I made the pizza. But I probably ate pizza almost every day this last week. And it was a good week. It was a fun week, but it wasn't good in the end. Didn't make me happy. Didn't help me achieve my goals. But anyway, this week in the Pizza Wars, Pizza 3, Luppy 1. Yeah. So I lost the Pizza Wars again, but I will be victorious eventually. They will not beat me every week. So stay tuned to see how the next week goes with the Pizza Wars. All right, it is time now for the health fact of the day. Every week on the show, I go to the interwebs and I find a health fact, and I share it with you, and I don't research it at all. So take it with a grain of salt, but I usually try to find things that make sense. So this week, our health fact is this: 11.3% of the world's population is hungry. That's roughly 805 million people who go undernourished on a daily basis, which means they consume less than 2,100 calories a day. 805 million people are hungry, meaning they don't have access to the food that a lot of us take for granted. You know, I sit here and whine about, I just can't stop eating. Well, there's 805 million people that wish they had that problem or that luxury, you know? And I know, like, we all hear it all the time. There's starving kids in Africa. And we kind of always, like, I even talked about that on the show last week. But we all just kind of roll our eyes, whatever. But I think it's good to remember, like, no, there really are. And not just in Africa, in your own town. There's people who are starving. And I'm sitting here whining about how I just can't stop eating. Now, you know, it is what it is. I'm not saying, like, beat yourself up or be mad at yourself. But I just think it is good to stop and think about that every once in a while. And especially when you are wanting to just overeat. You know, think about, like, other people wish they had that problem. Just keep it in perspective, you know what I mean? And just realize how blessed you are to have that much food to overeat. You know what I mean? So that brings us to my challenge of the week. My challenge of the week for you this week is this. We're talking about hunger and chronic hunger this week. And so my challenge for you is every time you want to go to the fridge and grab a snack or eat more at a meal or go up to a buffet for a second or third time or whatever it is, I just want you to stop for a second and ask yourself, am I really hungry? Try to tap into the sensations in your stomach. Does my stomach need more food? And I just want you to make an effort. Just this week, just try to make an effort, because that's what I'm going to be trying to do, is make an effort to really try to tune in to those signals, even if they're lost. Try to find them again and ask yourself, before you go to eat more, ask yourself, am I really hungry? And just see what that answer is. And if you have a food journal, mine's over there. That's why I looked over there for you watching. But if you have a food journal, this is a great time to write that down, you know, in your food journal during the week. Just be like, am I hungry? And mark down, was I hungry? No. Did I eat more? Yes. And how did it make me feel? You know, like, just make notes of whether it was really worth it to overeat. And maybe one of these times when you look at yourself and go, you know, I'm not really that hungry. Maybe you can get your mind off of food and go do something else. And a lot of times that's all it takes. Just changing your mind. Just focusing on something else. Go, no, I am satisfied. I have food in my stomach. I'm okay. I'm going to do this. Sometimes that's all it takes. I know that's kind of obvious. We all kind of know that. But maybe you just need to be reminded of that and think about that this week. All right? So try to tune back in to the hunger signs, and we will be victorious. All right? I really enjoy you guys tuning in. I really appreciate it. I enjoy it too, but I really appreciate you guys tuning in and following me on this journey. The ups and the downs. And I know sometimes it's kind of not as inspiring or exciting as maybe we all want it to be, but it's real. I'm just trying to be honest. And I hope that I and maybe you too can learn some things from the hard weeks like these last couple weeks have been. And I'm hoping to learn some lessons and try to apply that so that I can do better next week. So never give up and love yourself. I struggle with that just like everybody else. This last couple weeks I've been struggling with it because I've just been kind of mad at myself and just kind of pissed that I can't just stay consistent, you know? And I need to. It's important. This is my life. Like, this is health. This is real. But sometimes pizza wins. But I'm not going to give up ever. I will continue to fight, and I will continue to come on here and tell you what I learned and what things maybe you can apply to your battles. And I still believe, and I always will believe, that we can be victorious over this. We are not meant to just be fat. Well, I'm just going to be fat for the rest of my life. No, that's a lie. It's not true. You just have to work on yourself every day, every week, and never give up. All right? So don't give up on yourself. I really appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for listening. Please feel free to send me a message or comment on a post or whatever. Let me know what your battles are, how you're doing. I want this to be supportive for you, and I want to also be there for you guys to reach out to. So I'm here if you need a little bit of support or whatever. Give me a shout, all right? I will definitely see you guys on livingluppy.com. This is going to be a good week, all right? See you next week. Peace.
For more information, go to www.livingluppy.com. Be sure to head over to iTunes, subscribe, rate, and review. We'll see you next week on the Living Luppy Podcast.